it's pretty natural that whenever a gimmick appears for the first time, no matter if it comes from a shitty place or a bad place or a good place, whatever, the gimmick will always comes in a way to spread and be utilized in one way or another. That's that's kind of my impression when I saw the trailer for the latest movie that I just saw, which is none other than Searching. And what I mean is that ever since that horror movie Unfriended came out, which put the gimmick making the whole movie based on the perspective of what you see on a computer, and people just doing stuff on the internet and chatting on Facebook, Skype, or whatever social media that you get. We always knew that it will eventually come into being exploited or used by many people who feel inspired to do something similar or different, but still using the same technique. Many people will find this annoying, but the more I think about it, it kind of feels a little bit natural. Fads are, well, to put it a little bit bluntly, it's kind of like a virus. A virus is something so minuscule, it will spread, and it will kind of turn out a little bit of a phenomena here and there. I think we kind of know where the term viral means. I mean, ever since the Blair Witch Project got popular, many people decided to try their hands on found footage. It may in later years come off as a tiring formula, but it will still be there. Again, like a virus, saying like that there's an epidemic, that you find a cure, you get immune. That doesn't mean that the virus is gone. It's still there, but it's gonna be less remarkable in that sense. And so, in the case of Unfriended, it took that formula of the computer POV V shot, and honestly, I never saw any movie kind of like that after, well, what was it, 2 years? I mean, the only closest thing that we got is the Unfriended sequel, Unfriended Dark Web. Which is both this using this kind of gimmick of what was it, found footage film. But lo and behold, we got a movie called Searching, directed by this guy. What was the name? I got my IMDb page here again. Sorry, it's that I always kind of forget names sometimes, and I have to watch them. The director is Anish Chaganti, and decided to take that formula of the perspective of computers and took it into a little bit of whole new level. And also, instead of making a horror movie, he decided to make it a mystery thriller. And I'm open to that. I like mysteries. I like to play games like that. I mean, I play technically all the Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright games. And to kind of showing how much I like mysteries here and there. But the point is that he decided to use this formula to create a story revolving a father played by John Cho, who is looking for his missing daughter, only to realize that there may be a little bit more into her disappearance. So I went there, I watched it, and I gotta admit something. That, remember that when I say that sometimes a gimmick can still be contagious, and even from a technically bad movie? Well, let's say this. Well, Unfriended, was a kind of little bit of a, well, depending on your choice, a bad movie or but still a very, very flawed movie, and a very gimmicky, with a very gimmicky style. Sometimes you can take that thing and make a little bit of some improvements to kind of hide that gimmick might ruin the movie. And that's what Searching successfully does. It does a very compelling drama using that gimmick, and in a way it worked. I just came out liking Searching a little bit more than I expected. Like I said before, the movie, it follows this Asian man called David Kim, again played by John Cho. He's mostly known for playing, I think it was Harold from the Harold and Kumar movies. And he had a wife who died of cancer, and now he lives with his daughter, who apparently they have a little bit of a healthy relationship, but got a little bit strained after her passing, and I gotta admit that on the first minute it kind of get me, because you still see the shots on the computer on them interacting with social media, and how they use the social media even from before times in which they use it as a gimmick to record a video, take pictures here and there. And I kind of like that they even show what kind of technology, what kind of softwares or operating system they use. I mean, it starts out with, I think it was Windows 98 or Windows XP, and as things goes on, despite their healthy but little bit of healthy relationships, you still that there's a little bit of strain and kind of awkward conversation between each other, between the father and the daughter. But lo and behold, what happened is that one night when she went out, she tried to call him, but with no avail. And then after a couple of hours, then they realized that that she's missing. And the whole movie is with him trying to communicate with as many people as he can to find some clues for a whereabouts of his daughter, all while being helped by this detective who is played by, excuse me, I got the name here. Deborah Messing. She's a detective that he tells her about the case, and little by little they kind of begin to see that apparently there are some other aspects of his daughter's life that he didn't know about. I mean, the people that she communicates, or that she is hiding some of her grief from the death of her mother, and the guy's like, geez, I didn't know about that. And so there is some kind of shady disconnection between him and her daughter that he didn't know. Sometimes he even had to go to on her personal accounts on Facebook, Tumblr, and all those social media stuff in order to find clues about her. And as much the movie progresses, you can feel kind of like the thrill and the mystery, because the movie kind of begins to lead that maybe that daughter is kind of having some kind of double life, or that she was involved into running away from home, getting secret boyfriends, or that she might be involved into some criminal activity that he didn't know about. And you're like, holy shit, what the frick is going on? And at the same time, little by little, you're gonna see the father desperation of not just only finding his daughter, but also putting the pieces of what the hell is going on with this situation? What is going on? What he didn't know about his daughter, and what he can do about it? And it kind of gives out a little bit of a sentimentality in which how both technology could either both helpful and unhelpful. In a way, social media is kind of like our way of escapism. But sometimes it also kind of helps us out in one way or another. This is what I like is that it plays both sides. It can be both helpful, it can be both deceitful, and it can be in many ways. And it doesn't tell you saying that technology is bad, social media is bad. No. It has both sides of the coins. Trust me when I say this, that watching this movie will make you feel that it'll make you feel that you have a different experience compared to the Unfriended movies that came out earlier. First of all, not only because of the genre, the one was horror. This one is also more mystery thriller oriented. You can notice that this movie, unlike Unfriended, it has a lot more editing work into it, because you can notice that instead of just sticking into one plane of the camera, sometimes it had to deal with zoom in, zoom out, close-up shots of something. Sometimes they have to play out a little bit on the gimmicky part in order to show some things that people mostly naturally don't do much. Like, for example, showing the faces the whole time, showing their faces the whole time on FaceTime, even when you're not calling anyone or something like that. I mean, the Unfriended did that also with the Skype thing, so I will give that pass on that gimmick. Although that sometimes in that gimmick, it kind of a little bit bothers me that how the heck did these kind of people manage to type very quickly and very precise without little typos or something like that. Well, although that one is mostly faulted on Unfriended. In Searching, at least has the well, I will say clever technique that instead of having a movie that the events span for like a day, just for a day or a night. The movie takes place like days, and sometimes they have to make some transition to show that you're gonna see a social media or a perspective of one computer or to another computer or another computer after several days here and there, and sometimes it doesn't limit to just one computer or a computer completely. Sometimes it jumps to news reports. Sometimes it jumps to a streaming. And this gives a little bit of variety to the whole thing. And at the same time it keeps you thrill, because I forgot to mention that in a way it does make you care for the characters. While Unfriended is just some couple of teenagers sometimes being assholes with themselves and being into a very sucky situation, this one can be a little bit more personal. In a way, I think that this is a better version than Finding Nemo. Yeah. I find Finding Nemo overrated. Blame me all you want. Speaking of cute things and overrated things, this is something a little bit on me. I find it kind of a little bit cute that the girl, she does have a small liking to Pokemon. Yeah, there are Pokemon references there, and she said that she likes Uxie and all this stuff. Since Pokemon was a little bit of a small thing here, you know what? Maybe I'll bring the these two plushie Pokemon that I got. There you go. Now I got a little bit of a guest here. Okay, but besides the point, what else I can talk about this movie? Oh yeah. What can I say about the thriller aspect? The mystery works. It works very, very well. It gives you kind of like a message saying that well, I really say that social media can be both a blessing and a curse, because the more the movie advances, the whole situation kind of blows out in proportions once it publicizes to a whole community. I mean, it starts off with something very, very little. In this case, it's a person, someone missing. Someone is missing, and then it's just between a few couple of people. But as much as the story progresses, the whole thing becomes a big giant boom on social media, starting from especially when it starts from the news, and then people sometimes exploiting the emotions of a tragedy that happens. Most notably, for example, when the father tries to find the whereabouts of his daughter to a couple of people that her daughter met. People are like, I didn't see her much. I just didn't know her a lot. I just met her once. He was kind of just sitting there here and there. But when the whole media publicity comes out, they're like, she was my best friend. Yeah, I know I kind of sound mean-spirited, but unfortunately, people who kind of abuses the emotions of other people by using social media is both sad and deceitful at the same time. So it is really, really hard to trust which is which. So yeah, that's technically the social media aspect and a little bit of a social commentary that it tried to put into the movie. You know, the internet can be kind of be like a mask, and not everything that you see on the internet can be trusted all the time. And so there is I'm not gonna go into saying that, oh, the fake news here and there, because I do have a firm belief that you have the right to choose information that you take. But it's much smart to be a little bit more judgmental on the things that you pick, and sometimes make your own research, your own decisions. And once you see something that has an hard evidence, that's the way to go. And yeah, that's pretty much what most of the movie kind of goes. But despite that, there's also a little bit of a theme of relationship with the people that you know. Specifically in the case of a father and daughter relationship, they had a little bit of a tragedy. Well, okay, sorry, it's not a little bit. Well, they have a family pass away. They have trouble with the grief. Sometimes technology, we get too sucked up to the point that we have a little bit of a hard time communicating each other. Like, for example, there was a scene in which she's, I don't remember the name of that application, I don't know, or that website, I don't know if it exists or not, in which she's filming the video, and then the father comes in and he's like, hey, the voice is there, and we want to see the eliminations. And she's like, yeah, I'll be back there I mean, it's not like they had a bad relationship. It's like they just kind of feel awkward between each other. This is why I kind of encourage that once in a while, just don't look information on the computer. Sometimes talk. This is a reason why, personally, I kind of go for when I'm looking for answers or something. Sometimes I don't go to the internet or Wikipedia or something like that. That's kind of easy. Sometimes I go to like a family member or someone else to just talk. I might sound stupid or someone who is so lazy to look for information, but at the same time, I make a conversation with the others. So it's kind of like my own way to how can I say not believe everything what that computer says. And then I just filter the information in a way. Without spoiling too much, I gotta admit that I did like the ending in one way or another, which it really made a contrast to what has happened with the father and the daughter and all this stuff, and the whole social media situation and how even information can be manipulated in a way. I'm not gonna reveal about exactly what happens, but I'll give you a little bit of a clue. The clue is this. Years ago, my favorite actor of all time, which is Jackie Chan, had, I think he has a son. Correct me if I'm wrong with that information, but I think it was a few years ago, his son was involved into drug trafficking. I think it was drug trafficking. And he got arrested. Jackie Chan, being a father, would have easily appealed for him because he loves him. But being a man that I admire a lot, he didn't do that. What he did is that he said that it's very sad, but he has to face the consequences. That news of Jackie Chan happens in the opposite spectrum in the movie. And I find this kind of like a very valuable message that if you love your children, sometimes you have to be tough on them. You can't pardon them everything just because you love them and you just want to protect them. Kind of like in the movie Orochi, a manga I read, every crime has its punishment. And that's the little thing I'm going to leave you about what I want to express about the ending. And I'm not going to reveal you fully. You'll have to watch it and see it. So with that me saying, that's easy for me to say that I really recommend Searching. It could become one of the best movies of the year. Considering that this is a movie that came out from a gimmick that probably is gonna die too fast. But this proves that even a gimmick that could be tiring, if done well, it could come off as a very, very decent movie. And that is something that I can applaud for Searching. Oh, and by the way, my favorite Pokemon is Lopunny.